Barrington Planning. Great Barrington Planning Board meeting for Thursday, January 8th. This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording the meeting?
I'll put the recording portions.
You may record portions. Okay, thank you, Michelle. We will start with roll call attendance. Jeremy Ega.
Here.
Pedro Pachano.
Here.
Malcolm Fick.
Here.
Becky King. Here. Jonathan Hinkin.
Still here.
Brandy Nelson here. Okay, so we're all here, full board in attendance. Form A. Yep. Thanks so much. That's the Form A is for 116 Russell Road,
16 is 114.
114 Russell Road.
Yep.
And if you could just state your name for the record.
Okay, please. Mark Reynolds, I'm Greg with Parsons. I'm here representing Deputy Rice tonight. There's 11 acres on Brushville Road, and I certainly have three roads that was on it, 114 and 116. And what we're here right tonight to do is we want to separate each resident on its own lot. This currently is 114, so we want to create a lot with 2.5 acres. It's got plenty of frontage. You see that R2,
Yeah.
so we need 150-foot lot width, and you've got over 200 just by looking at it. And we've got more than enough acres.
You need 1 acre minimum and two, and you're providing 2.522.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
And then the remaining land, we didn't survey the rest of it, but the remaining land with 116 is 8.39 acres remaining with 318 feet of frontage left.
okay.
Good.
Does everybody understand? Anybody have any questions about the, do we have a motion to endorse them? We have a motion by Jonathan, second by Malcolm. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. You're starting. Thank you.
Would you like to do that?
If you guys don't want the paper, I'll take whatever you guys don't want.
Still need 3 copies? 2 copies. 2 copies.
Smaller one, right? How'd you do it?
I think you just fold it in half and then.
Yeah.
It's this, right? Not the, yeah.
No, just hold it.
Yeah, nothing with that, just in half. Face up in half. Then,
Yeah, take that one back.
uh,
Is this in the, there on these? Oh, that's the sign. We need another one there.
send me one more.
We need one more.
Oh, I'll take one.
I think that's one.
You're confusing with the size. Dumbfounded with the size.
Yes.
I folded it all that well. Did you?
Twenty 26.
If that's on there. That yours?
Well, thank you for your time. It was nice seeing you guys.
In the air.
You.
Yes. You ready for the next item? Yes, okay, so we'll move on to the next item, which are the minutes of our December 11th meeting. We have, yes, ma'am.
Claudia Shapiro, 78 Mount Plain Road. I'm asking for a correction to your October 23rd approved minutes. I didn't ask if the board had an open space recreation plan. I asked if the town had an open space recreation plan. And I didn't leave the meeting. I went out into the hall and I attended it Zoom. And before you approve the December 11th meeting minutes, I'm asking you to read to me what's inside there having to do with May Place.
Move to approve as amended.
Yeah, I think,
Second.
we have a motion to approve as amended, and we have a second. We have any discussion on that? No, all in favor? Aye. We can send you a copy of those minutes, Claudia.
So you just approved the December 11th meeting minutes without reading back to me?
Yes.
Correct, we are under no obligation to read the minutes back to you for that motion. We're happy to send you a copy of the minutes.
That's really traumatizing, Brandy. And you know, I'm gonna take this one
This
step.
is not a
I
public
understand
session
that.
right now.
I understand
Would
that.
like to wait until citizens speak. I'm happy to listen to you at that point in time.
Well,
But,
I just
ma'am,
wanna make a comment, Brandy, when I got up on December 11th, and you said Claudia Shapiro, 70 Egremont Plain Road, which is the airport property. Was traumatized before then, okay? I am severely and really in a bad way since then. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with what this board is doing to me and my home and my property.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
But it's abusive. You're abusing.
I am not sure what you're talking about, but I will look into it and we'll get you a copy of the minutes. All right, next item on our agenda is special permit and public hearing for 53 Van Duzenville Road. We do not have all the information at this time from the applicant, and they have requested a continuance of the public hearing. Is that correct, Chris?
They requested a continuance, that's correct.
Okay. So the matter before the board is a vote for that continuance to continue that hearing to February 12th, 2026.
I'll move.
Got a motion? Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Malcolm. Do we have any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So we'll be continuing the public hearing for 53 Van Duzenville Road to our February 12th meeting at 6 p.m. here at town. All right. Next item on the agenda is site plan review for 148 Maple Avenue. This is an application for site plan approval in accordance with section 8.10 and 10.5 the zoning bylaw for the site work related to the conversion of the former nursing home at 148 Maple Avenue into residential dwellings as permitted by special permit 931-22. And we had a site visit earlier today, and if you want to come up.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, and Nick Arienti, on behalf of this proposed application for site plan review, continued hearing, been continued for some time. With the promise that, of course, an obligation to return to complete site plan review based on comments that were made at the last planning board hearing when you all considered the proposed application. I have, on behalf of the Golden Group, we have got two of, the team here tonight. There is Josh Blevins, who is the, Director of Development, who was at the, site meeting earlier today. And he submitted, dated January 8th, the, proposed, package that was responsive to the three items that were raised at that prior planning board meeting. Also have Justin Winter of Winter Green Landscape Design Studio, the landscape studio, who has obviously put together the landscape portions, plans, so forth, schedule for planting and all that are contained in the January 8th submittal. So again, I'm going to really turn over the substantive information to Josh, first of all, unless he would prefer that Justin goes through landscaping first, but Josh. They'll figure out who wants to come up now. But we'll explain the plans, and he can answer your questions. I did take a few minutes to brief Justin on some of the comments that were discussed at the site meeting earlier today. So he's got some idea of what those issues are and will be ready to address them as well as answer any other questions that you might have for him.
Okay, great, thank you.
Can I come up?
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
And you guys are welcome to pull more chairs up too, if you wanna sit, up to you. The owl is going to be looking at you, so you may wanna back up just a tiny bit.
Yeah, Justin, you can come back over here.
Be put on screen.
Yeah, you've got something.
Oh, sure. Do you have digital? Yeah, if we want to put it on screen, I can speak right
Yeah,
now.
that's fine.
We're hovering over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're pretty modern here.
Give me.
Of course, as soon as I say that. We were. You gotta give me a second.
Take your time.
No.
We have the tech. But it's reliant on humans.
All right, you just sort of, do you want me to respond to any specific comments?
What, since there are, we've had a site visit, so we got a brief overview, but if you could, for the benefit of the members of the public that are participating tonight, if we could just have you give a brief overview of the proposed landscaping as provided in your plan. And are you able to speak to the lighting plan as well as the landscaping plan?
No, just planting.
Okay, okay.
So thank you very much. So, Laurel is a luxury condominium development. We were tasked with, outfitting the grounds with native landscape plantings. We have drawn our plant schedule from, some of the primary, horticultural books that are used for planting in Massachusetts. Vascular plants of Massachusetts, native trees of Massachusetts, and then adaptive natives that we understand, that we use frequently and are used throughout the Berkshire County as supplemental plants. We gave a heavy emphasis to street frontage. Tried to outfit, to beautify the street frontage with ornamental trees, retaining as many of the healthy trees along the frontage that exist currently that were slated to remain. We have staged the planting so that we have specific views into the site. Lower plants out in front, stepping up to medium size, and then larger plants. Any new trees that we're planting in and around the front are mostly ornamental size, and then around the perimeter of the parking area, larger, more specimen sized trees. We have proposed evergreen hedge on the right along the, I believe this is our western edge of the site. Mitigate views. We've infilled some of the planting along this edge here, to also mitigate views into the site. And then we've done some plantings around the perimeter of the parking area to beautify that space as well. So we try to give it a 360-degree treatment around the property. Really emphasizing the entry point on the streetscape. So that's general overview. If you have some comments, I'd be glad to respond to those.
Okay. Anybody have any specific questions about the landscape plan as presented?
Have you seen the charging stations that have been installed?
I have not. This was done last late winter of 2024. So I understand that charging stations have been, if I'm correct, have been installed along this edge here.
Mhm.
What I propose is there's been some modifications to the plan since I did the work on it. I propose that I go back onto the site. I'll go after the meeting today. I'll wait.
With the sun.
I'll take a look at those and then I'll cross check against what we've proposed to ensure that we're mitigating. I hear the views that we're concerned about most are coming off this street.
Probably the neighbor there.
Okay, so we'll do our best to make sure if we need to amp up. Right now we have mountain laurel, aruncus, some ground cover, some smaller trees in this area here. So I'll look at some of the view lines and make sure that we're trying to mitigate that as much as possible. Yes,
Also, when we were looking at those charging stations, they all have large screens
okay,
and they're black right now.
okay.
And we're wondering what's in the black area. And if it's illuminated, colorful, flashing music, I don't know.
I have no.
Probably not any vegetable buffer.
But it would be disturbing to the people who live.
Yeah, that's why I was
I can
talking about
address- I can address that either now or in a moment.
Yeah, why don't we, because that was, it's a landscape adjacent question for sure, but if,
But yes,
Mr. Winter is planning on reviewing the eastern page, right, boundary again, in terms of providing for screening against a neighbor, I think it should address the
it should.
concern there, yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah,
Also the transformer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand that's down in this location.
yes,
Okay, We'll make
it's
sure,
pretty prominent.
we'll make sure we get some evergreen screening out. in
It's
front.
got a
Yeah, you might
lot
want-
of bollards.
so
Okay, I don't
And
want to see that myself.
So with those are, because we were talking about the screening for the driveway, but are we also talking about screening those from Maple? It's like viewing from the street?
Absolutely.
screening what?
The
Both.
transformer complex.
The transformer complex and the backs of
Yes.
the chargers. And what is that other thing behind the chargers? It's something for the chargers,
It's
right?
it's like a cabinet. it
Yeah.
has, yeah.
There's like
If you could
you'll
just
see
get
it.
Your plan updated to show the chargers and the cabinet that go with the chargers and then the two transformers and the dozen or so bollards. It's like a small forest of yellow bollards. Yeah.
We'll definitely get that in our plans.
It's pretty
And we'll
cool.
make sure that we're screening both from the street and also, but also working with, coordinating with the client to ensure that we're providing the access necessary
Absolutely.
to that space.
Yeah, we
You
understand.
could turn them into all a bunch of little or tall skinny minions for the kids in the area.
I appreciate the arborvitae screening. That was something that came out of the special permit discussion. We noticed yes, on the, I think that's south or west. One of
I've
the
got my-
The planting schedule that you provided said 15-gallon size at installation.
Yes.
Can you just give us an idea of what that usually equates to height?
15 gallons, approximately 6 feet tall,
Okay,
arborvitae.
okay,
Arborvitae, typical season, green giant is what we've specified. Green giants will grow about 5 feet per year for the next 10 years till they reach about 50 to 60 feet. And so that's what you can anticipate along that edge there. I have not encountered commercially available, you can find them, larger arborvitae, but it's kind of jumping the shark, so to speak, because these are gonna grow very quickly. And the earlier you put them in, the more likely they're to acclimate and establish. And they'll actually grow faster and better once they're established, and if you put them in as older, they're actually gonna it's probably gonna end up equating the same amount of time.
I can respect that. Is there a plan to give them deer protection while they're getting established? Because we have a very substantial population of deer in that area. They sort of range through the woodlands that are up behind the property.
Sure. We can coordinate that with the client, and we'll make sure that that gets in there.
Okay, the other thing we often ask for on the planting schedule is that there be, particularly where there's a screening that's installed as part of a permit condition, that there be ongoing maintenance and replacement of the original signs if they die.
Okay.
We don't want you to just put it in one time and then say, oh, well, you know.
Right. So our notes call for a 90-day warranty
Mhm,
following the closeout of the project.
mhm.
And so, let me double check that, I believe that's.
What I'm saying is we would have on the site plan a requirement for a note or a condition in the approval for the site plan that those be replaced at the size they were originally installed in, should they die, that
In
it is
perpetuity.
perpetuity and so
Okay,
at that end.
fair enough.
Are you at all concerned about
Where?
50-foot tall trees, 20 feet, they're 25 feet from the building?
They're very skinny. If you're familiar with arborvitae, they don't get much larger than 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
That dense, I think they're gonna be just fine. That's a standard offset from the building. they'll definitely need to be managed over time. I don't, if there's any signs of, decline in the trees, then we would certainly recommend that they were removed prior to any major issues with the, trees in that proximity to the structure.
Is this a hedge that's gonna be trimmed or not?
Generally, I'm not gonna talk about maintenance, but, because I don't have any control over that after it's installed. But again, with arborvitae, it's not meant to be like a formal looking hedge, it's gonna be a green. Now, there's arborvitae screens all over Berkshire County, so you can understand it's gonna be a thick screen.
Jonathan, we have 4 of them in our house, green giants. Behind the house,
Oh.
it's blocking the smoke coming
Not a
from.
lot of arborvitae in front.
Oh, not those are, we have the green giants.
Oh, okay.
And they're like 7 feet from the house and they're just growing together and they form a hedge. They require no maintenance.
That's right.
Lindsay, do you want to ask where on the slope they're gonna be, if he's familiar with the?
Yeah.
We place them, could you just sorry.
Oh,
Could you
it
speak clearly?
Yeah, so, where they're gonna be planted on the slope, either at the top of the slope, on the slope, or at the bottom?
Sure. Since this plan, the base plan that we received does not have grading specified on it. I can't speak to that directly. We placed them at a distance that we felt was safe, a safe distance from the building. But we can double check that and we can work with the client to mitigate that, the exact placement in the field.
Because it's what is
Can
it?
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What are you driving at? Do you
Well,
want it to
because
be
if-
closer to the property line so that it's higher on the slope?
Well, my concern was how high they're gonna be, because if you're planting them at 6 feet, they're not gonna even, they're gonna be at basically the top of the slope if you plant them at the bottom. And so then it'll be a year before they're even starting to screen, right?
Right,
And so that was my concern.
yeah.
But then the other concern I had is like, how much space do you need for them to grow? Because it doesn't seem at the top of the slope that there's a lot between that and the property line. And so, like,
Yeah, and the arborvitae, generally don't get larger than 10 feet in diameter. It's generally how large, that's on the large side.
and so that's what I'm wondering, how much room there really is between, like. I mean, when we were looking at the property line and trying to figure it out there from using that tree that, at Maple.
The 18-inch.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of room at the top of the slope there. And
Just-
Just take a look at it when you
Yeah.
go out there, because planting might be challenging, because there is a slope and then it kind of
And it's pretty
drops off
steep,
to
yeah.
the parking area.
Yeah, it looks like scaling off your plan that you're putting the center of the tree like 6 feet from the property line.
Yes,
We just
That's
couldn't tell in the field precisely where the property line is located.
Yeah. that's right. So that's gonna more or less bring the edge of the tree right out to the property line. Now, if we need to bring it in a little bit,
Yeah.
we certainly can do that.
Yeah, if
We've
you
got-
could
we've got
just
the space.
look at that in terms of like grade and then what we're driving at is effectiveness, initial effectiveness. That's-
Absolutely.
Do we want to talk about the sign? Is the sign in your bailiwick? Okay.
Just one question on the trees, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So there's a few maples planted in the section along the curve of the driveway where the electric car chargers are.
Yes.
I know you haven't been down there and seen those, but are those still viable?
Yeah.
You might want to check that while you were.
I'll double check their positioning when we look at that. Just the information.
This one.
it almost looks like they're right where the where the chargers are.
Yeah, like location or type.
But there's a,
Maybe we could fine tune.
Okay. If we
Little
need to,
metal
we'll move
box
them in.
maples at the moment.
Probably are gonna be using that
Towards.
towards the street.
Cause they have yellow.
I mean, otherwise, I think the landscape plan is very attractive. Are you, proposing for the spaces that don't have any plantings, is that just intended to be lawn?
Yes, and those refer to that, and
Okay.
any space that is not, designated as a specific planting space.
Yeah,
Is lawn, it's gonna be basically lawn infill. When we were last out there for our last site visit, there actually was lawn out there, I think when I've driven by since, there's not much left since all of the excavation that's occurred,
yeah,
so it'll be all new lawn.
yeah.
And we have a lawn seed spec, herb seed spec.
Okay.
That's really used frequently.
Okay.
Maybe in terms of where the board left this with the special permit, the key concerns with the landscaping were the property is to the west and the property towards the sort of north.
Yeah,
The residents kind of the northeast
Yeah.
being screened from
Yeah.
moving cars in the parking lot and building lights.
Got it.
So, yeah, those were the key, all of the details.
any other questions about landscaping? Chris, did you have anything else on landscaping? No, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Hang on just a minute, we're still taking in information.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Josh Blevins. I am the Director of Development for the Golden Group. It's a pleasure to be here. As I mentioned at the site visit, I'm on a board in Hingham, and we're still fully remote. So it's nice to be back in person. I'll talk about lighting and signage. We propose, and it was noted at the site visit that there are a couple of poles that we somehow missed that are at a 20-foot height. We do propose those to be at a 14-foot height. And I think once we lower those two poles to a 14-foot height, our plans as presented are fully compliant with the requirement that no pole lighting be mounted greater than 14 feet off the ground. And we are also fully dark sky compliant. All of the lighting is directed downwards. None of it is up or out. And that's true of the building mounted light and the parking lighting. There was also some discussion. It's on some plan sets and it's not on others. About the lighting on the west side of the building. And we are prepared to eliminate that lighting on the western side. We would propose, obviously, the lighting on the front and the eastern elevation on the parking lot side. And I think that is
So when we were in the field, Josh, the west side of the building, so the side, facing the nearest resident, that those, little terraces had what looked like was going to be prepped for a, yeah, some sort of sconce.
that's right.
You're proposing not to have that sconce?
I confirmed with the architect that those were proposed to be the same sort of lighting that's proposed for the street elevation, which is lights, that are on until dusk.
Yeah,
And obviously, I think we don't want that on the western side of the building.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's no reason to have that lighting there.
yeah,
And we want to be good neighbors, obviously, and we're fine to eliminate that. There is, on the patio, those wells that are on the western side of the building. I think there are lights that are controllable by the residents of those units, which obviously, below grade, it will be screened as well by the arborvitae. But it makes sense for folks to be able to turn a light on the patio, when they're outside.
yeah. I don't foresee an issue myself with the lights in the well space for the garden level units. I don't see that as being an issue.
No.
Any concern there, guys?
Just color temp, because it'll light below up really harshly if it's really bright.
In the specs we received from the applicant, everything was 3,000 K or less, so that is that warmer color. Okay.
We talked about sconces.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
talk about sconces. What's your question about the sconces?
I didn't, the sconces look like the up and down lighting.
I think that the particular sconce that we call out is available in both an up and a down. But I think the spec that's highlighted is the down only.
I noticed that too, that the image that was provided shows it can be used to like wash up and down.
Okay, your screen's bigger than mine.
Well, we should verify here in the hard copy, because that was a concern that I had as well.
Yeah. I think
What page are you looking
it might be the page or put it on.
That might copy as well.
I don't think- If they're all down right now, it's particularly if that's something that means that it's easier.
I think it was a comment that we received from the neighbor at the time that they were concerned about the illumination. And Josh, can you just clarify for us while we're looking for the spec on that particular light? What is the intended period of operation for the lights illuminating the various parts of the site? Can you just, I didn't see anything about whether or not the building lights are intended to be on from the, pardon me?
Let's go.
There's those guys, yeah. It's the W3, this one.
And are they controlled by the building or by the individual units?
On the patio level, they're controlled by the individual units. Anything that we propose above the patio level is controlled by the building.
And so it's the
Sure,
intention
great.
for building mounted lights to be on from dusk to dawn?
I don't have the verbiage of the ordinance in front of me, but I know that we are proposing to be compliant with it, which I think they can be on, but they have to be dimmed. Is that
Power.
it half
Yeah,
powered?
yeah.
I think that is the intent.
Okay. So the intent is for the base of the building to be washed in light to some degree through all dark hours.
I think that to have some lighting on it, yes. I don't know that we would say the building would be fully washed.
Are you able to clarify that?
We can do that, sure.
And then the same thing with so we understand, obviously you have requirements for egress lighting, but the same question would be for the parking areas as well. Is the intent for those to be at full power again from dusk to dawn? Or do some number of them power down half power through the night and then, motion sensitive and come back up if someone's out in the parking lot and needs more illumination? So if you could clarify the operational scenario for those lights.
Okay.
And then Jackie's question about the chargers and how they're illuminated.
Yes, and I confirmed with the specs on those EV chargers. The front of it is shiny and black and looks like it would be a television screen, a large television screen. There's actually a small portion of that has a screen behind it. It sounds like we'll probably be coming back for clarification anyway. We'll provide that spec so that you can see how those EV chargers look.
If you could give us a picture of what that particular make and model looks like in operation, that would be helpful to
We'll
understand.
do, I've got that.
EV, and I know like some of those chargers light up like you're in Las Vegas while you're charging, and then
Yes.
when you're not charging, they're sort of more subtly lit, but
This one,
could be
I think,
helpful.
is neither Las Vegas looking when it's in use or not in use. So we'll.
That would be super helpful.
Give you-
And then Mr. Winter will know how much he needs to screen them.
My sconces.
The sconce, that's the sconce, yeah, okay.
And so in the,
So one way means it's down only.
Yes, yeah,
Well,
this is,
Hopefully that's the way.
so
turn it upside down.
the second column
Yeah,
on the left, yeah. Okay.
It does say it's not dimming, but you have other options.
I noticed that. I don't know if it's because they're proposing a dimmer that is not internal to the light, or if it's, I'll confirm that as well.
You may just power thing.
Yeah, sometimes that driver,
Yeah,
accessory driver allows you to power them down. Yeah,
Brandy, the insert ones on the wall. Are those just facing Maple?
which one are you talking about?
It's the insert plus lights. On page. Revision 2.
Page 44.
Oh, is that page 47?
The W.
Yes.
Where are those?
Yeah, the
Page
W2.
44 on the PDF.
I'm just looking for where it's called out. And so the
Oh.
W2s are shown
Yeah.
in,
Right here, this red.
right, is that a two? or three?
Along the front end, Catherine.
I think, you're. at the-
Yeah. I didn't know if,
Yeah, can you tell?
I think it's the ramp.
Oh, yeah, well,
This-
yeah,
this
is
right
it
here
not
is
wrapping
W2.
around the ramp, meaning the west facing?
I think it's the.
Or is it just the,
Good for you.
I'm trying to,
That's why you're the chair.
I have a small plan.
Yeah, do you mind clarifying, Josh? Can you tell, we can't tell if your W2 that, light that is embedded into the wall is just in the rear of the building. There's some congestion in the plan here. Is it also being shown on the ramp in the front of the building?
yeah. Oh,
No.
The plan,
No.
it's only in the rear.
it doesn't show it in the front of the plan,
Okay.
And then that, it looks like
And
it's.
got it on stairs.
Stairs and
Yeah.
stairs and the ramp at that.
So that's intended to be embedded in the riser of the stair? Is that what's going on there?
I believe that's the case. I don't know if it's in the right, it looks like it is in the
There's
riser,
so
it's
many
not
of
in
them, I
the.
don't know what.
I think it is in the riser,
Yeah.
so that, so that it's, those stairs are illuminated for people
Okay,
coming in the back.
cool.
What other questions do we have? We can talk about the sign. All right, gonna talk about the sign, tell us about the sign.
Sure, there's a drawing of the proposed signage. In the city ordinance contemplates in specific to, so in a lot of residential zoning, in Great Barrington, signs of up to 12 square feet are permitted, but specific to the nursing home to residential conversion, a portion of the ordinance, a sign of up to 9 square feet is permitted. And so we propose a sign on which the sign surface, that field is 9 square feet. It will be a solid metal field. The letters will be of a matching material. And those will be in some sort of relief from that sign. And then they will be gently backlit. So we think this is there's a lot of different ways you can light a sign. You can have external illumination that shines on the sign. You can have a sign on which the entire field is lit. You can have a sign on which the letters themselves are lit. But I think the gentlest way that you could have an illuminated sign would be this backlighting. So that essentially the shadow outline of the letter is what you see.
What's the color during the day? What do you see during the day?
I think that would be, we'd be up for, discussion of that question. On the building, I think what was approved at the previous meetings was some sort of a black fascia on the top of the building, a soffit, and then on the corners of the building. We have installed or are installing a black ACM aluminum clad material on the building itself. We could make the sign out of a matching material. We could make the sign out of copper. We could make the sign out of stainless steel. whatever would be the consensus of the board, we would be, willing to implement.
I mean, I don't have a strong feeling about materiality. I think it's your decision, to have the cohesiveness that you want with the building. The building is brick, and I see you're making like a nod to the brick with the brick pillars.
That's right.
I can't think of any place where we have backlit signage as an example. To reference us to. Your
Says Cooney's.
Oh, that's a good, is
Oh,
that
that's-
backlit?
It's lit from the inside and projects through the letters.
Yeah, no, that's different. Backlit is like the light lives on the backside of the letters and illuminates the space
It's
behind
like
it.
halo behind,
Right,
around it.
yeah, yeah. Do we have that anywhere like that?
Floats the letter.
Hmm?
Floats the letter.
Right, right. I
I
mean, it
think
doesn't
Fisher
have,
isn't like that, is it downtown?
I don't know. I'd have to-
Don't look at
I
it.
can't think of it.
I'm confused.
I did this myself.
Yeah.
I'm not an architect in
Oh, but that's beautiful.
ChatGPT.
But ChatGPT is wonderful. and
So,
you can-
something to this effect. If
Yeah.
we can provide,
Yeah,
I can have the actual architects, do this, for the
Yeah.
next meeting.
yeah, that's not a
You should see the
terrible
faces of
rendering.
your colleagues.
Are those, are those flowers on the plant?
You know what those are? I specified, laurel. So, there,
So is there a planter in the well beside?
that's what we propose, is a planter in this.
And so I guess our other question, Jonathan, did you want to ask that question? Because you
Yeah.
were the one who had it.
Part of the piece. And the one on the east side makes sense, because that's
You
the
know, we
entrance.
always get things.
The one
we should
proposed
go
by
back
the
to.
western driveway. I don't know what that's for.
I think that's directional signage, so it would say, enter, exit. And that's not proposed to be the sign for the building.
So
On
the,
the plan, it looks identical.
It does, I agree, and that may be a revision we need to make to the plan.
Your preferred location, Josh, is for the main sign to be where? On the main driveway coming in?
Which would we call the main driveway? The side driveway or the one in front of
the
the?
way you have the driveway demarcated, and so perhaps you need to clarify this for us, is that entry is this lower right side.
Right.
And it's a one-way loop with exit on the other one. So I think we're just trying to understand where you intend for the building sign to be in relationship to that kind of circulation, where people are entering on the driveway side on the right side and exiting on the driveway that's shown on the page left.
Sure, I think the logical location would be at the entrance. And so, we will propose that. I also would say
You
on the
don't want people
plan,
driving in the wall.
we propose that the sign be located, perpendicular,
We
To the
agree with
road?
that. Yeah.
so that it has greater utility.
And so it'll have double facing on it.
It'll be double
Yeah.
faced, that's right. But we do propose very minimal signage at the entrance and exit that says entrance and exit. So,
Just provide that as well, and then, on the site plan, show where the signs will be. And then, as we mentioned in the, at the field meeting, I don't think that'll pose a sightlines issue for you, but just, have your consultant look at where it is situated, just to make sure there's no impediment to your sightlines, as people are exiting the property.
and I think we hope to be cognizant of that in the design. I think that, as I recall, it's been a moment, but the ordinance specifies the sign can't be over 5 feet high. And I think this does.
Yeah, and
Sure.
size-wise, I think it's fine, you're showing 2 feet 4 inches, so that's rather low. And I guess you'll want low plantings to go along with that, so you don't hide it, right?
Right.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about signage? Do we need to have a discussion about backlighting?
I don't think so, because the illumination really
restriction just really, is about illuminating so it shines on neighbor's property.
Right,
So, I don't think the backlighting is gonna do
you
that.
feel comfortable that the backlighting isn't gonna create a glare situation for passing cars or anything like that?
But what's what in the sign bylaw permits a sign in a residential district?
I need to double check the bylaw, but Chris, is it the bylaw for the adaptive reuse of the building that we addressed?
Oh, okay, so we specifically covered in this particular zoning section, because when you wrote it, I don't know if you recall, it was conversion of nursing homes, and all the nursing homes are in residential zoning. So you had this written in. Okay, thank you. I didn't look at that. Identifying if there happened, so. Kind of so.
Josh, just to be clear, there's not any other building mounted signage, right? The brief,
It's, I think that there is proposed to have the name on the building and the building address, but it's not lit.
so that's just a fixed metal panel that's 148.
I think it may just be, like a fancier, slightly larger version of what you would buy at the hardware store, that says 148 Maple Avenue.
Okay. And not illuminated.
And not illuminated.
Okay. Any other questions about these things? No?
I mean, I guess the color temp on the sign backlit are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it should still be warm because.
Yeah, I think that's. We want to see 3,000 K or less, so
Absolutely.
if you're gonna use LEDs, which I assume you will, that's what we're looking for.
That's great. I'm also a big stickler for one lights, so, yeah.
We've seen some bad blue lights.
No, not you, we won't.
We've got them, don't worry. So are you clear as to the additional things we're looking for? I just want to make sure you don't leave with any
I think
questions.
that I've taken good notes.
Okay, great. Anything else, board members?
I have a question. So this isn't particular to this, but just in general. Like a lot of times we see things for site plan and then once the building's up, it's not quite what we talked about. And so like as we've been doing this, we don't ever have applicants come back after the building is up. And so, I mean, I realize that's not really our responsibility in this building department, but.
We did, so we're not charged with enforcement. We did have a conversation with Matt Homer about site plans and adhering to site plans. And the reason we have these meetings and these discussions and conditions and things like that is because we are looking for certain degree of performance. And the reason why we have different performance standards is because we're looking for that component. So he seems committed to that.
And I'm thinking specifically of signs on Maple
Yeah,
that we saw very different versions from what ended up being out.
yeah. I think there's been some evolution in the building department that helps with enforcement.
That's one last question.
Of course.
You don't have to answer it then. Do you have a date for your C of O?
We don't.
A target date?
I would look for us to be requesting it probably in 90 days-ish, somewhere around there.
Okay, so you think the units will be available over the summer?
We hope so, yes.
That's fine, board members. Ma'am, you had a question before.
I got a motion, and it's about the arborvitae and deer resistance.
Would you please just state your name for
Donna Jacobs, 260 Park Street, and deer come through my property and they've eaten arborvitae so that they're naked on the bottom and bushy on the top. And I didn't hear any discussion of selection of plantings for deer resistance, and I hear that there are deer up in the wooded area behind the property. Just thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
So, arborvitae are definitely so everything that we plant there's a spectrum of deer resistant. When we presented the plan originally to the client, we had a reading for every single plant that we selected. And we try to get everything towards the more resistant side. There's no bomb-proof planting. So I have confidence based on over 25 years of experience
I figured,
selecting.
but in my yard, you'd be surprised to see what the deer have done. in damage.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
okay.
Understood. So you can do some initial fencing till the plans get established. That would be my recommendation. Some perimeter fencing. We actually have a detail in there for protection from construction activities, trees that are being preserved. That can be also utilized for deer protection. I give it at least a year to get started. And then there needs to be some regular oversight on the trees themselves, and new protection might need to be deployed or other forms of materials for discouraging deer attraction, let's say. But again, there's no foolproof planting out there, particularly with what we have as native species. But what we selected is definitely on the, again, you're looking at the spectrum, we're leaning towards more resistant,
The less tasty.
the less tasty.
And if you make friends with your neighbor, who abuts you on the arborvitae, he has historically had several large dogs, which I think, will help keep the deer away as well. So, Michelle, you had a question?
Michelle Bear, 17 Division Street. Anybody who goes by our house on our boundary line between two neighbors, and I don't know, Malcolm, you may want to chime in. We have in our yard, about 30 green giant fuchsias.
Yeah.
And it's a huge wall between our house and our neighbors because we took down trees.
Yeah.
Our neighbor has a pool.
Yeah.
They didn't want to look at us. We didn't want to, I mean, we're friendly and everything, but we wanted privacy. So when we moved in, we planted initially 20. Now we have more every year. We plant more and more. Not a deer bite out of them.
Right.
They're massive. And so I think it has to do with the cultivar of the green giant. These we planted were probably in the 6 to 7 foot when we planted them. We were told by the nursery to make sure it was pulled away. And they're pulled away quite a bit from our neighbor's boundary line because they get huge. And as Malcolm said, they form a wall. We have a massive green wall. The biggest issue, we have turkeys like the nest under them. And that's
That's its own
big
problem.
thing. And they
Thanksgiving Day.
some of the bottom, they do their thing. But we have bear, we have bobcat, we have deer. They're very deer resistant. And if you look at them, they're thick. They're thick. They're a wall.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad on the lighting. Jeremy, I'm with you on warm white. Warm lighting, because my husband and I had a battle this Christmas between the LED, that sort of thing. And they're in our neighborhood, there is glare going on. So I'm glad that the planning board has somewhat of a focus on it. And LED lights are important, but there is a difference between them. And I had to school my husband on it, so.
I hope that went well.
But again, if I was the neighbor and they wanted to see what we had, they can just go by our house and they can see it's a massive wall. And we're bringing more in. One thing about living in Van Dusenville, you learn how to screen. So I highly recommend the green giant.
Thank you.
Thank you for the info.
I just have the wrong one.
So, Mr. Long, yeah.
Hi, Dave Long, 304 North Plain Road. For any of you here 15 or more years ago, I'm not sure how many of you actually were, Zen New Media sign, which was originally on the on Wheeler and Taylor's building, and then we moved up to the train station. That was a backlit sign in the way he's describing. And that was actually, as you know, it was very effective, looked great.
Yeah.
Oh.
When did you feel like you'd be ready to come back to us? We meet twice a month, and we have, one more meeting this month, and we have. Then our next meeting in February is,
Long meeting.
Hmm?
A long meeting.
a long meeting.
I think we'd be happy to come back to the next meeting.
Okay, if you are able, our next meeting is the 22nd of January.
That sounds great.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you then.
Any potential I could zoom into the.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though we'd love to see you here in the Berkshires, we are. happy to take
I
you
may
back to-
show up, but it'll be a surprise.
Okay, great.
Make
Thank-
Nick show
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on to our next order of business. Next item is Prosperity Way subdivision endorsing the subdivision plan in accordance with planning board subdivision approval dated March 29, 2024. This is essentially a procedural thing we forgot to endorse, when we visited this item 6 months ago or something, 6 months ago.
Is that when we discussed the light?
Yeah,
Height?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you wanna?
Well,
Go, Mr. Remble?
In order to transfer the property from the Affordable Housing Trust to Habitat for Humanity, there needs to be an actual lot plan filed with the registry of deeds, and that mylar signed in order to do that.
Yep,
So-
yep.
So the planning board did not do that after the subdivision approval. So
So we
that's
already
essentially,
approved it, we just need to sign it like we did the ANR essentially, right?
Excuse me,
Yes,
Jim Bailey, who's Atomic.
yeah,
Your plans that you show in tonight's agenda are not what was approved in March. You actually showed houses, 20 houses.
so this is different, yeah, so, do you wanna explain it? You'll explain it more precisely than I will.
I'll try. So the subdivision that was approved was the road, to create the road. And then the rest of the lot was where the houses would go. That, the rest of the lot is one full lot that would be transferred to Habitat for Humanity. That was what was discussed. And then the houses on that lot won't be individual building lots. They'll be condoized within the Habitat lot. So Habitat first will own that entire thing. And then as the houses are sold, those house footprints plus a little bit more as was described at the time. Maybe a couple feet on either side. Will be condo lots. So you'll see after this. Habitat will file a condominium plan that will show those house
Little footprints,
footprints.
yeah.
And those footprints get transacted to individual owners. And then once enough owners purchase in, then it gets moved from Habitat to a homeowners association.
Does that make sense to you, Mr.
Oh,
Remble?
no, I understood that through the process that it was gonna be all, one big community lot. I understood that right
That's
from the
correct.
beginning.
Yeah.
So how were permits issued when there wasn't a formal signed document approving the subdivision?
So it's not a true subdivision like you're thinking, like individual lots. And what we're doing today is we're trying to pull out the roadway piece
But that should have
separate
been
from the
done
house.
prior to the work.
No, not at all. It should have been done, it needs to be done to convey the parcel to Habitat.
Property, right, I understand that. I'm just confused as the work was completed,
What work are you talking about when you?
the infrastructure work, including the road.
Yes,
There needed to be something signed in order for the work to
that's
progress.
the town's project. The infrastructure is the town's project and the town owns the whole thing, so the town is able to do that development. So now what we're trying to do is pull out the balance of the property so that can be conveyed to Habitat for Humanity so that they can start to move forward with the condo piece.
What's also possibly confusing, and the board been a long time since this board has seen a subdivision. Generally, when there's a private subdivision, there are covenants on each lot. In this case, remember, there weren't covenants put in place. Usually those covenants say you can't build or sell until, a certain amount of infrastructure is completed. But you'll recall in the discussion of this, there were not covenants put in place because the town was essentially the builder.
Right.
For a private subdivision, guys, like at Barrington Brook, there are covenants for each of those lots.
Does that answer your question or address your concern?
No, as long as there's no approval, because let's face it, I don't trust anybody on this board or in this room, to tell you the truth.
Hey, thanks.
Lovely.
Well, no, it's honest. I mean, I've watched this progress from 20 homes that were approved by the select board to 30 homes that this board decided they need to go in there. What I want to ensure is tonight we're not signing something that is gonna allow another 10 homes to be built on this piece of property.
That is.
What is gonna ensure that?
So there's already a separate plan that was approved for the 20 homes,
The special permit and the subdivision both say 20 homes,
20 homes.
and that's what it is.
But tonight's
This doesn't change.
agenda plan does not show any of the homes.
Right.
That's
it's just
because
the
that's not
property
what this is about. This isn't about the homes, this is about the property transfer from the town's ownership to Habitat's ownership, so that they can then move forward with their special permit.
20 homes is the max.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that will be in the minute. So is there an action we need to take, like a vote or anything, or is it?
You can vote to endorse the bylaw.
So do we have a motion to endorse the Mylar for the
So moved.
division? Thank you, Malcolm.
Second.
Second by Jeremy. Do we have any discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You're abstaining?
You're at the top.
Okay. Let me just take this off. Did you get that, Kim? Right. So the signature there, or I'll come back to Chris. Is it a next item on the agenda? It's really an announcement, if there's any discussion, so. So as has been advertised for our open space and recreation plan, there will be a public forum this Saturday, January 10th at 10:30 at Mason Library. PRPC is putting that on, they're updating their presentation based on the feedback we gave them at the last meeting. So generally, they're putting it on, I'm planning on attending if you guys are able.
I'm gonna attend, but the town also has an event, which is the 250th anniversary of the Knox.
Excited about that one. Can we talk about that one as issues and concerns?
Well, that starts at 12,
We don't-
at,
started at 1.
well, Wheeler House, so I'm gonna have to be there at
Okay.
12, so that's what I'm saying.
I understand, it's a 50-day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, there's,
okay, all right. So we hope people will come out to that public forum, and there's been a survey about open space and recreation in the town, what people like, what people don't like, where we think we need more. How we can, take actions to have better open space and recreation, how we can get more people outside. Using those spaces, so we're looking for public comment there, so I hope folks will show up for that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm here tonight to get that information. I have several calls today, people saying, isn't the open forum today? And so when you say it's been advertised, I'm not sure people are finding the ad.
Yeah, so I know there've been announcements on the town's social media sites. I think there's been some postings at various places.
It's on the town's website, it's the event.
Yeah.
it's not,
Pardon me?
it's,
I'm not sure. Yes.
That was
Most of
the
my
scanner.
heard.
Yeah, Kim says she's heard it on
Yes, so
WSBS.
I'll just
Yeah.
hear you say
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell as many people as I can.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Appreciate it.
Thank
Beeson
you.
Library, 10:30 on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's free.
And it's free. And maybe there'll be cookies. I don't know. Okay, so then the next item is seasonal communities. We just wanted to have that on the agenda in case there had been any updates.
Yeah, as the board will recall, so Great Barrington has been designated as eligible seasonal community. Which if the town meeting accepts that designation. Will require the town to do certain things in zoning, but will allow the town then to get certain benefits, including. Creating housing for essential workers. The state is still working on the seasonal communities labeling regulations. I included the current draft in your packet, same one that's been out since the fall, I believe. Happy to discuss it, but there's really not too much to review right now. The select board is gonna talk about the seasonal communities designation, I believe, in February.
Okay.
So it's not sort of nothing included on the warrant?
They haven't made any decisions on the warrant. But, you know, obviously it would be a good time for them to become familiar with it, towards that goal.
Wasn't the town gonna make some recommendations for changes to that to expand the kind of housing that we
I
could?
thought we did.
We did submit comments to the draft regulations, yes.
Okay.
And
No feedback yet.
Well,
no,
Right,
it just
second.
received.
Yeah.
Comment received, but we haven't seen any new regulations or revised
I see, okay.
regulations come out.
Okay,
The comment was, I think the regulations propose essential workers, meaning those that are employed like municipal,
By the town.
police, fire, ambulance, and our comment was, well, our ambulance isn't municipal,
Volunteer.
but it's still just as essential.
right. Okay, so more to come pending the state.
More to come,
Issuing those
and
regulations.
likely more discussion to come amongst the select board, this board, and the voters as we approach town meeting.
Okay,
In terms of zoning, nothing for this board to do on zone.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, a lot of those things we've already accomplished, it seems.
Yeah, some of the zoning things, towns have to allow tiny houses as dwelling units. Which we do allow as
An ADU.
accessory dwelling.
Yeah.
So that may need to be tweaked. This is all if town meeting approves.
Yeah.
It accepts the designation, then next year the board can work on ensuring that the zoning is in compliance.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions on that item, guys? No? Okay. Next item is board and subcommittee issues and concerns. Jeremy? Anything for you with DPC?
No, but we, so our next meeting is, next week, Tuesday, the 13th at 5 PM here. And that's when, hopefully we'll finish, with our recommendations for funding for town meeting.
Okay, great, thank you. Pedro, anything for you?
No.
Malcolm?
We had the BRPC meeting today, and one part of it was a presentation on the small clean energy infrastructure facility siting and permitting regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that came out is that the regulations are gonna require a local consolidated permitting process.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to actually be in place beginning October 1st, 2026.
Wow.
It can be in place as early as, and the regulations haven't been put out yet, but
Mm.
that it has to be in place by then. It says that the municipalities don't need to change their bylaws to comply with and implement the consolidated local permitting process.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how that could be, so that's something we're gonna have to look into in the next few months
Okay.
to see if we need to change our bylaws to be in compliance with something that isn't even regulated yet, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But those dates, I think, are from July first and October first.
And BRPC anticipates being able to provide some guidance at some point, or?
BRPC can provide guidance,
Yeah.
based, on, using DLTA money
Yeah.
to towns that need it.
Okay,
But BRPC will also be participating in drafting model bylaws,
okay.
in the next couple months, so.
And has the state put out anything like a model, consolidated permit application or anything like that for consideration by the town?
Not that I've seen.
Okay,
That's some model bylaws for various size
okay,
clean energy systems, but they're very extremely vague.
okay.
I've not really dug in.
But I mean, it's possible we could do a consolidated review without changing our bylaws. We just have to have individual meetings. Doing that, but we have to offer. In fact, it's the applicant's choice whether he does a consolidated review or individual reviews.
Okay, is that something that administratively can be managed, Chris?
I don't know yet. It's
Okay.
difficult to answer that without the regulations being written.
Mhm.
So I'm not really sure what the state will put in place for us then.
Okay, so TBD.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay,
Coming down the pike quickly.
okay,
Well, the so-called, the state's deadlines are, you know,
Well, I mean,
In all-
they're
in
not,
all
they're not
reality-
acting quick, but our deadlines are coming quickly.
in all reality, whether this town would ever see a permit for such facilities.
Yeah, but this is even for small facilities like we're doing now. I mean, you know, the one we're reviewing now, if they'd applied for this maybe a year from now, it would be a different approval process.
Mhm. Something to think about,
Probably
for
be
sure.
informative, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you, Malcolm. Okay,
Nothing tonight, next meeting.
next week, okay. Jonathan? Okay, I don't have anything either. All right, next time is citizen speak.
Claudia Shapiro, so I'm asking Pedro, are you gonna send me Sarah Parker's from the News of Time and the Filming Committee 9-page addendum that she emailed you, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No, I just wanted to, since we were supposed to talk about Van Duzenville Road and the solar thing, and I wanted to, I'm Dave Long. And I have property on the, we're off North Plain Road, but we have share on our backside.
Just so you know, Dave. Anything you say will be in the record of this meeting, but it won't be in the record of that particular hearing, because the hearing is not open, but,
I understand.
okay, great, go ahead.
Well, I'm appealing to your thought process rather than the actual process at which you're going with it. But, it seems to me the highest use of that property actually, and I know there's some disagreement,
And
and
just
just actually,
cautioning the board, because you have an active permit in front of you that you have not yet opened the hearing.
Right.
right, and I'm just as.
We're
We're listening.
Not expecting a response.
Yeah, we're listening.
Is in fact, housing, because if you look at that neighborhood, which has struggled to sort of reconvene over, a series of changes, most of them have been sort of on a downward curve, and the GE thing has been seeming like the last nail in the coffin, but now this comes up. If you're in that neighborhood, that's what you feel. Now we have a new last nail in the coffin of that neighborhood actually pulling together. But you stand back and look over the long arc of time. That property is now next to Home Gas, which is easily on its way out. They've already stopped taking residential. I don't even know if they're taking new commercial customers at that facility. The lease has been, running through for the solar field right behind them. And it's one of the last, sort of large developable areas that's near town sewer, as town water. There's almost all gravel underneath, so that ground is pliable. So it's actually fairly cheap to sort of go back and restore some of the damage that's on that property. It seems like Jeannie Bichetti and would make more money faster the town would contain the money under the, the tax, base. Addresses affordable housing needs. And then when GE's finally done, ripping up across the railroad tracks, maybe there's a park that can glue everything from Fornells all the way to Oak Street into one new vibrant community. There aren't a lot of large tracks that are as close to the services and, a population center like that in town, so. I just don't wanna lose sight of that when we're talking about solar. I'm a big proponent of solar, and community solar is something that I've often, tried to push forward. As a butter, I am concerned that a lot of these community solar things use a lot of herbicides in order to maintain. A lot of that's in what the management plans are for that particular property. But Jean's gonna do what she's gonna do, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do. You just hope you think about the whole thing. Thank you.
Yep, anybody else? Yes.
There, I don't wanna,
It's okay, and then I'll get to Eileen in just a moment, thank you for pointing that out.
hi, Michelle LeBear, 70 Division Street. First off, what I forgot to say about the green giant fuchsias, the first year they take a lot of water. You gotta take care of them, they suck it right up. I just wanted to thank Mr. Long for his comments. More will be coming at the public hearing. Actually, I was going to talk about something else tonight, but something else came up that doesn't make me upset, doesn't make me angry, actually makes me a little sad. Because I live in this town and I also serve on a public board. That's with our public records. And the reason I'm bringing it before this board is I have in front of me something that refers directly to the chair of this planning board and the redactions that are going down on public records. And it was stated, I know there's a scam going on. There are scams all over the place. I work for a public school district. And a couple of years ago, the Power School database was hacked. That was huge in the education system. It was nationwide. But they're pulling data and it says here, including name and address. Yet tonight, I just stood up, gave my name and address. Mr. Long just stood up, gave his name and address and everything. We're required to do that. Nobody's protecting us while we're standing up here. But if we want to speak and we want to do so in a public forum, it's what we have to do. But I've been looking at some materials coming across in front of me, not just from this board, but from the town of Great Barrington. And the redactions are massive. Now, I understand you have to redact social security numbers. I believe you should personally make sure telephone numbers aren't on there or anything. But some of the things I'm seeing, I'm beginning to question, like an address. And like I said, I just stood up here and gave my address. But what's really concerning is packing of material. The planning board does, like the select board does a nice job in providing a packet. Mr. Rumbold in the past has been very responsive with regard to information. But it's said now with the redaction it said that the official meeting material for the planning board is available within the planning office. And if a member of the public wishes to examine the official meeting material, requests can be made in person or in writing to the corresponding office to inspect such material. If a request for inspection was filed, requests to view the material would be satisfied. And if requests for copies of such official public records are made, they are subject to regulated by the public records law. Well, the public records law gives you 10 days to present the material. Well, here's a good example, the solar project coming up. I see something in the packet. I want to look at it. I work in Lennox. You post the packet like it's 48 hours under the open meeting law. So I, within a couple days, have to leave my place of employment, come down to Great Barrington and view it here. Unless I'm incorrect, and I'm really hoping somebody's going to say something. I'm going to bring this up before the select board as well. That that doesn't seem right. So, like I said, it's referencing the public records law. If I submit a public records request, the public body has 10 days to respond. But say the solar hearing is in 2 days, how does that work? And to expect a citizen to leave their place of employment, now, oh, my husband works in Westfield, is he going to get in his car and come to town hall, look at the records? Something's very wrong here. And one thing I've always been very, I would say proud of, is there seems to be some openness and transparency in Great Barrington. And as a matter of fact, when I got my master's 10 years ago, part of the project was I would go from town to town, go to meetings, and I had to do a quantitative and qualitative study, and I had to rank the data. Unfortunately, Great Barrington didn't come up number one. It came up number two. I won't tell you who number one is, and some other towns weren't good at all. But I hate to see us start doing a rollback here. To me, and I serve on a public board, I wasn't even aware of what's going on. But this Injustice Board, I don't want to just pick on the planning board, it's just what's in front of me references this board and this chair. And I've always found the chair of this board to be very receptive to the public and everything. So unless somebody, and it may not be anyone's place here to say anything, but I wanted to go on the public record that as serving on a public board, I'm not happy about this. And I agree 100%, we should be careful what goes out there, especially social security. One time I did ask for some information years ago and there were social security numbers. I immediately called the town manager's office. Something got by, but fortunately it was me. And I turned it back in because I wouldn't want somebody to have my social security number. But again, if we're talking names and addresses, several people in this room stated. So
Can I
let's
ask,
with this.
can I ask you a clarification?
Yes.
The stuff that is vulnerable is what sits out there on the website. But if you, and I think this is true, I think if you were to email me and I can email it directly back to you, it wouldn't have to be blocked out. Because it's just you getting it, you're not posting it out there where bots can access it, right?
Mhm.
And so, so first of all, the public record or the packet is a great convenience and, still try to meet that. But I think these scams are targeting the PDFs that are posted on the websites. But if we were emailing directly, I think that would not be an issue.
Okay.
Those names, only to that, but I think that is an easy solution that we can try to work on.
And I appreciate that because as I've said, our Chris has always been and always on top of the open meeting law, and such as when you want to just think he stopped you. And I get that, that's not a big deal, but I wanted to go on the public record. It's not just this board, it's what's going on in the town of Great Barrington. And I don't really find it acceptable, particularly because this Josh Risen's memo dated January 7th refers directly to it being public records, which is a great inconvenience if you're concerned, like I'm concerned with the solar issue. I agree with Mr. Long 100%. Well, what if something comes through? Fortunately, Mr. Rumble just said, but I don't know if other boards are going to do that. So if you're out there, anybody, I'm not happy about it. And it's gonna come before the select board on Monday. I think there's a meeting.
Sure, there's some.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's weird that the abutters list doesn't have any addresses. They've all been redacted.
It's. We've been hit already.
Yeah.
And
But what's interesting, the Plan for Prosperity Way has the names of the owners and it's right on the street, so you know where that is. And any 10-year-old can Google it and come up.
I think what the reality that we're dealing with is an AI bot that's going in and scraping information. And I'll just share, personal experience of, for a community that I work with, any applicant before that board got what looked to be a very real invoice from the town with wire transfer information and a statement that says if you do not wire your application fee of something crazy, like $11,000 by such and such a date, your application is invalid. And there are people out there that will pay that because they're worried, like, oh, I didn't
They're-
realize.
I have to be honest, I don't know if you're a
I
developer, what developer
But I
would do that?
appreciate your sense, but I think it tends to be tapping into vulnerable applicants, people that are coming in for something related to their houses, and they're not sophisticated, they're not expecting that, and they're honest people and they're hardworking, and they're being taken advantage of. So I'd be curious if the state has put forward any guidance, and I'm sure we'll look into it, but it is very real, and people, are concerned, and so just trying to find that right line between making information available and
You get an email from Brandy demanding $8,000.
it's not.
Well, just FYI,
It would never
in my
be that.
job, I get invoices constantly.
Yeah, from you was.
And I'm looking at them, and if there's one thing off, I'm accountable for it and that sort of thing. But this is really scary, what's going on, because I'm finding the town of Great Barrington is going backwards. And you can have all the surveys you want, all the public forums you want, but the open meeting law, the public records law, and the conflict of interest law are the tent poles of government. And we can't be pointing fingers at federal government and everything and saying you're doing, when we're starting to, close ourselves off. And I'm really upset. I'm not upset, I'm sad. Because I held our town at a higher standard, myself included serving on a board.
Yeah.
So this is really upsetting. Also, I'm just, it's other boards as well. So I just wanted to go on the record. I'll discuss it again Monday night before the select board.
Thank you.
All right, but thank you.
Yep,
as well.
thank you. Eileen, do you have a question? Hi, Eileen.
I'm calling public records and open meeting law tomorrow to find out about this. I'm very concerned, especially because the redactions are being done on professional formats. So is that implying that the firm should redact all its professional information? And it reaches a point at which it's rather silly. However,
Just to
What?
clarify. Sorry, go ahead.
my
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I keep interrupting you. I'm gonna
Yes,
stay silent.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, just to clarify, we are not redacting the public record. We are redacting portions of the packet which is posted for convenience.
I think
The public record remains open unless there's a social security number or something.
I think the packet is considered a public record. However, I'll try to get that clarified tomorrow. My question was, could I have the vote again on Prosperity Way because somebody voted against or did not?
Abstained.
Jonathan abstained and the rest of the board voted in favor.
Okay, why did Jonathan abstain?
He didn't say.
Okay, all right, would you say now that you're,
voting that way.
would you say now that you're being asked?
Right.
Is this a question from the press that should occur outside of public comment?
Why? Oh, come on, people. You're a public board.
It's Jonathan's choice to respond, Eileen. I can't make him. I think there's your answer.
I'd be happy to talk to you offline.
Eileen, anything else?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, all right, hearing nothing else, we'll adjourn at 7:33. Thank you, everyone.